Well, we still have some time, so let's get the lecture questions in now. You understand? The rest you can ask after the lecture. Go ahead with your question.
Thank you.
Certainly, we'll definitely do that. Good idea.
Because for Ukraine, this is a major pain.
I understand why. It's a major pain not only for you, but for me as well. It's a good idea. We will definitely do it. Your questions. The lady in light over there.
Thank you. Oleg Gennadievich, it's my first time at your lecture.
First time today?
Yes, I've been listening to you for 2 years now.
Oh, well, that's a different story.
Yes, but being at the lecture is completely different. Thank you for the C. Thank you for this energy. Yesterday it was very noticeable that you brought the sea here, because it was so clear, so fresh, so pleasant. So, the first day had one energy. Yesterday was different.
And today?
Today is the third, Og. How so? Today is more soft and relaxed.
Because I was in a Vedic temple today.
It shows.
Got purified there. Yes, thank you very much for bringing us this atmosphere. You know, right now at the lectures, very strong changes in destiny are happening to me. I hope it's not childbirth. I'm kidding.
No, I have a very difficult relationship with my loved one. We ignorantly came together 4 years ago.
I took him away from his family. Although I didn't want to, but he left his family. I repented and he repented. And we want to be together. We really hurt each other during this time. You see, you hear, that's how it happens. We loved very much, and love, and continue to love, but now these feelings are somewhat fading. They are becoming more gentle, more smooth. All this happened through fights, quarrels, scandals, reproaches. We broke up. He left me, I left him. Well, we really hurt each other, did very badly to each other. Well done. What's the question?
The question is, I want to marry this man, and he is proposing.
And what were you doing before? Why didn't you get married?
All this time it was just words.
Are you living with him?
Yes, but now he's at his mom's. We fought, seemingly broke up, but now we're getting back together.
That's fine, you're already married. There are different kinds of marriages. Just because people are not registered doesn't mean there's no marriage. Meaning, God has joined you. Live, torment each other, pray, all is well, you understand?
Don't want to torment anymore. Well, whether you want or not, Saria, it's fate. Our relationship has changed a lot over these 3 days. A lot. I've stopped blaming him. I've stopped taking offense at his reproaches.
I started to be more gentle. I realized that every word he says. Did you hear? She only listened for 2 years before this. Our direct communication is crucial.
Very crucial, Og. Contact is crucial, so I say go somewhere. We have a kindness festival. It's in May and September. If you want, come.
So, get energized, don't get bored.
Don't go stale, meaning evolve. Another question that is very important to me.
I'd like you to look as deeply as you can. I must have magical glasses then, laughs.
Not only your glasses are magical.
So, I look through the glasses. Let's put them on now. I'm looking.
I once made a big mistake in life. I had an abortion, and I'd like to know, can I have children?
We really want children. Not now, but you'll be able to soon. You just need to run a bit, fast a bit, pray a bit. Well, a bit more purification. Spiritually, you've already purified. The body, not yet. Sin contaminates a person at different levels. You just need to run a bit, do a little workout, and that's it. You'll be able to.
I told him the same, that we need to run and pray, run and pray.
You see how well everything is said?
Thank you so much, Oleg Gennadievich. Be happy.
He also needs to, because he's got severe hypodynamia. I think he's overweight.
Well, now Mom has fed him up a bit. When he's with me, he's in good shape.
Don't fatten him up. He's not a bore. A man should be healthy. Why fatten him up?
With me, he eats only greens, as advised.
He ate only greens, didn't touch anything else.
Yes, and he exercises, runs. Of course, sometimes he...
My dear, there's too much of you today.
I apologize. Thank you very much.
You've said it all. You brought such joy to the atmosphere. Now, questions about the lecture. Do you have any, young lady?
Hello, Oleg Gennadievich. Thank you very much for coming.
I've been thinking for several days, to ask or not to ask, but thank you very much. Sensible, because you think, what if Oleg Gennadievich says something?
Well, I didn't want to bother, but your energy today, I am just weeping inside.
You are so. Every word directly overturns the soul. Thank you for such words.
I'm going through the same period as you described, you went through.
I'm from Donetsk, I'm speaker. It might be even worse if you're from Donetsk, you understand? By the way, my good people, can I have a moment before I forget? Only those who fight for the motherland and aid this process can live in the combat zone. These people will be under God's protection, and if God wills, they will either enter paradise or stay alive. Understand this. Not your apartment, not your car, not your relatives. Nothing is a reason to stay there for other reasons. If a war starts somewhere at some place, a person should either participate in it directly or leave that place. Otherwise, God doesn't guarantee that his life will be preserved. And that's our choice. I'll give you just one example. I have an acquaintance who was in her apartment there in Donetsk and bombing began. Everyone went to the bomb shelter. She said, I'm praying God will protect me, I won't die. And she sits praying and the urge to go to the bathroom starts to intensify. The need to go to the bathroom is intense. And she, no, I will pray. The bombing is going on. How can I go to the bathroom? More urge to go to the bathroom. And she went to the bathroom, feels like she doesn't want to anymore. And at that moment, boom, she goes back to her room and everything is torn apart. Why? Because the shell hit there. So, God, he heard her, diverted her from death, but showed her that you have to go to the bomb shelter. And she went the next time.
I have a question. Is this period ending for me? Because the war, it was just the beginning of this period, but then a lot has changed. Speaker, it has already ended. Now is a good period. My grandmother has left this life quite recently.
Speaker, yes, that was a bad time. Now is a good one.
And a child has gone. I lost my second child, Speaker. That was before. I wanted to know, do my husband and I have another chance?
Speaker, yes, absolutely. You need to recover. You need to exit the zone of suffering through prayer. Use spiritual strength to exit the zone of suffering. Anything is possible. Victory is needed. You just need a win.
Physically, can I endure having a child?
Yes, absolutely. You need exercises, fasting, and water is essential. You need to go to a pool or the sea now. So, you need water. Maybe only water can help now. Then you'll physically be able to endure.
Serious problems with the spine and psyche have started.
It means you are not holding up. You need to release this tension. Remove it using the spiritual power of nature, using spiritual forces to relieve the tension.
Thank you. And a question about the lecture. You said one should keep a distance from a person who torments you.
What if it's your parents?
Oh gee, the same. What's the difference? Are they sick?
The same. If they are sick, then help them, but don't engage in close relationships. Don't communicate.
What if they insist?
It's nothing serious, let them. Don't react. Don't get involved in relationships. Otherwise, you'll ruin both yourself and them. You can serve them, care for them, wish them happiness. No one is stopping this. Close relationships are always possible when you overcome destiny. If you don't overcome destiny, or if a person lives in ignorance, then close relationships are not possible.
But we are constantly thrown together. Every day some common matters occur.
Well, then you'll be drained, suffer pain, and destroy your life.
My husband has already started reacting to my parents.
Then you need to do what I said. Either you follow the advice or you ruin yourself, one of the two. Because your principles of love are incorrect. Do you think to love means to drown together in the swamp? No. To love means to save yourself first and then pull others out of the swamp. The purpose of distancing is for you to calm down yourself, pray for them, and start calming them. The goal is to help. Step back in order to help.
Thank you so much for your lectures, for changing lives.
That man there. Go further, up there. Thank you very much. Be happy.
Hello, Oleg Gennadievich. Thank you for everything you do. I have such a double question.
First, my mother. She lived probably for my happiness for a long time, and for her daughter. So do all mothers.
Yes, and now it has turned into her living for the happiness of our children, her grandchildren.
And at some point it started to have a strong influence on our values because she doesn't accept. This is worse. Look, when a mom lives for the happiness of children, it's like, let's say, 1 point. Living for the happiness of grandchildren is not 1 point. It's 3 points, and therefore a person can't hold up. So, if a mother can still withstand the happiness of her children, that is, she can raise them somehow, but grandparents usually can't stand the happiness that comes from grandchildren. It means they start spoiling them, start behaving foolishly, recklessly towards them. Therefore, it is the duty of parents to protect their children from grandparents as much as needed, so that contact does not ruin their lives.
So here we've begun.
We started to distance ourselves, to fence off, and to wish them happiness simultaneously to the parents.
So as a result, Mom got really upset, and we just recently had a conversation. And the words were such that I asked God for the strength not to get upset, but I can't.
And I understand that all the sufferings I am now enduring from this experience as you treated me. All this suffering will come back to you. Let her say whatever she wants. When a person acts rightly, there's nothing for God to punish him for. If your mom ruins the child with her presence, meaning spoils him, acts foolishly, makes the child become uncontrollable, capricious, then her contact needs not to be destroyed, but to be limited, reduced. And if she disagrees with this and starts threatening you with retribution and curse, nothing will happen.
Thank you, this is very important.
100% nothing will happen.
So, how should I behave with her?
Kindly, always explain why you are doing so, and ask her not to do as she does. If she stops doing that, you can let her in. You understand? People need to be educated. Just understand, parents also need to be educated, but there's a difference. For example, if I am educating a child, I explain to him, as an elder, that this and that need to be done. Now, if I am educating a friend, I explain as an equal. I say, listen, mate, well, it's not done. Well, you understand? Well, behave properly, or I can't. I just can't, allow you around the child. Now, if I'm educating parents, I say, dear mom, you are so good. Well, unfortunately, I am responsible for the life of my child. And I believe I am responsible. I believe this shouldn't be done, my sweet, my dear mommy. If you do this, I'll have to not let you in, sorry.
Awesome. It just so happens that this period coincides with a very difficult period in the business. I am thinking.
It's just a difficult period. Look, I wanted to say something, but it slipped my mind. Remember, you all will think, when a difficult period of fate comes, you will always think that it is someone's fault necessarily, because that's what fate does. It always ties a bad period to some person. It seems like it's his fault. And if you start blaming a person, you will never be able to defeat fate. Meaning, victory over fate means you've detached from the person. Fate is to blame. Detached from fate, I am to blame. So, it's counting on me, then nobody is to blame. You just need to pray, work on oneself, then peace in the heart is the first step, then knowledge. Having the ability to influence the situation, that's step 2. And then, overcoming fate is the third step. Always remember, fate always bewilders, always. It does so not only to you, but to me as well. Let's say a bad period has started, and suddenly a conflict arises between my wife and me. So, she doesn't live by the lectures, doesn't understand me, doesn't listen. She is to blame. I prayed. So you have a bad period. I looked where it came from. From which life did I get such behavior from my wife? Now I see. There's a reason. All right, I repented. The wife is not to blame. I prayed. Overcame this difficulty. Everything's fine. So it even happens to me. Even though I know about this, my psyche goes out of balance. I start blaming someone. And that's how fate always operates. It torments a person. It teaches us to be stronger and wiser. Fate does that. You're just in a bad period right now related to your activities. It will end in 5.5 months.
Thank you. I have another question regarding money.
And it started about 2.5 months ago.
It's very tough, yes. Oh gee, it will all end in 5.5 months. Another question concerning activities is troubling me.
Currently, this has been going on for a long time. 2 clients for very large amounts haven't settled and don't intend to. The issue with one of them can be resolved amicably. He is a conscientious person. You need to communicate with him and he will settle. The other one, he is very detached from you. He doesn't even want to communicate. With him, you can only get money by force. You can get it, but only by force, and you need to apply it. It will be a sin if you don't do this. The force of law or some good kind uncles, those who come and say, listen, you need to pay the money.
Thank you very much, because I had no understanding, no idea how to act correctly.
To pursue to the end, or on the contrary, let go of the situation, relax. If you relax, you will commit a sin, indulgence. These people will then continue to believe that they can do this. Fate punished you for some of your actions. But you need to act in such a way that people do not continue down this sinful path. Sternness is a manifestation of love. This world makes one excited and stressed. It doesn't bring happiness to a person. The world tortures people. They feel the tension of this world. For this reason, all 3 types of aging are treated by means of austerities. Fasting plus yoga is used to treat heat. Static exercises plus fasting on water. Tension is treated with static and dynamic exercises, like in the case of this girl. Excess weight is treated with dynamics, i.e., running and fasting. These are the 3 types of aging. They are treated by 3 types of austerities. These 3 types of austerities increase lifespan. An early death or serious illness signify a lack of one or all 3 types of austerities. So you have to understand these austerity practices must be done for a long time to overcome this energy. This isn't a 5-minute exercise to defeat aging.
Thank you very much.
Pass it on to the girl. No, here.
Good evening, Oleg Gennadievich. I'm very grateful for your lectures.
I've been listening for 3 years and I turned to God, so to speak. I've turned my face towards Him. My heart opened, probably thanks to the lectures. I started listening and wishing everyone happiness. My life changed a lot. My family stayed together, and I have a question. Well done. Look how well you've done. The tangerines are thrown.
Thank you. I listened to the lectures. As you said, serve your husband, serve your family, do not expect anything.
Everything was wonderful in that mood. But 3 years have passed, and it's probably my fault. I started to expect something. My question is, no, everything is fine. You started expecting something because you didn't have God. You're missing God now. When a person expects, it means they lack God. Be happy, firstly. And secondly, you need to educate your husband. Start gently, with jokes, flattery. First accept him, then educate him. You need to feel that you can calmly tolerate his shortcomings, teach him, and explain. That's courage. Courage is a form of love. If a person doesn't show courage in relationships, the family will be destroyed.
That's exactly the phase I'm in at the moment, just as you described.
At first he was very surprised by the changes. Then he was very grateful, I felt it. But now he's probably become a little cocky. Right, well, now is the time for distance. That's it. All of a sudden, you calmly and kindly stopped what you were doing. He asks, what happened? And you say, my dear, you need to try like this. He might say, oh, leave me alone. Keep distance again, but kindly. Then he'll try to sweet talk you. That's the second stage. In the third stage, he'll try to understand. If you are nice to him, he will understand.
I fulfill my duties, but I keep him at a distance, kindly.
Yes, you can do that. There are different stages of distancing. In the first stage, you carry out duties, not even keeping him at a distance, but just being strict with him. Give him hints. You hint very carefully. If there's no reaction, increase the distance. That's it, fulfill your duties. Try not to communicate. No reaction from him. The third stage, you don't fulfill duties anymore. Still no reaction. You live separately with your mother. The most important thing is to understand that there's a very, very serious and significant danger in a person's education. There is only one danger. If a person hasn't served enough, and you have served enough, you don't have this danger. I see this clearly. But if a person hasn't served enough and started to distance, then either they won't achieve their goal, or the person will just say, keep distancing. I'm taking a break from you. Thank you. You exhausted me. Now you live apart. Or the second option, they'll just leave because they don't need it. So you distance yourself thinking that he or she will start changing, but a person might change if you invested in them. If you have been kind, patient, and forgiving. They've become insolent, then you have the right to distance yourself. Gratitude has already arisen. You have the right to distance, but you need to be careful with the distance, very careful. Not just suddenly when it's unclear what happened. Very carefully use hints. You need to explain why. Hint to the person. Do everything kindly, but be strong inside. Relationships should be soft on the outside and strong on the inside. That's the right relationship. Most people are strong on the outside, soft on the inside. You understand? That's wrong.
My main question.
Will his heart ever open to God? He doesn't forbid me to go to the temple. It's already opening, the process is underway. The only thing is that women are always very impatient in these matters and they want more. Before, he didn't like it, but now he's calm about it. Change is happening, changes are taking place. For a man, the most important thing is to get the train moving. Then he'll move on his own. Starting the train isn't easy. First it starts up, meaning you need to start it up first. He's almost started up by you. He probably already asks you what was discussed in the lecture, right?
Not yet, but now he's calm. I'm from Krivoy Raj. He let me go. He's alone with the kids.
He says, I'm not interested. You can go. Do what you want. He's not interested yet. Soon he will be. The person's development process is underway. There's a sequence. He's changing. The changes are happening.
Thank God, that's the main thing. Thank you very much.
Yes, definitely. Everything's great.
Thank you.
My dear, don't shake your hands like that. I won't ask you. I only ask the humble ones. Those who aren't humble don't even listen to me. First they ask questions, find out what to do, and afterwards they forget. That girl in blue, yes please.
Hello, Oleg Genadievich. Thank you.
The day before yesterday I asked a question about my husband, and I've heard some valuable questions from ladies now. I hear them. I see a lot in my relationships, and there are answers, but there's still one question inside. Even the day before yesterday, you said you needed to think about it and told me to ask you again. And now, thank God, I can ask again. Only one question remains. I also tried to distance myself from my husband, so I told you ask again. You had to decide something fundamental with him and then ask again.
Yes, I couldn't decide with him.
Then what's the point of asking? We agreed that you would ask once you've made a decision.
Yes, Og, let's give others a chance to speak to me.
You should understand, those who haven't spoken, raise your hand. Well, there's a woman in a colorful cardigan. Yes.
Hello, Oleg Genadievich. Thank you for your immense warmth.
I wanted to ask, how bad is it to be in a relationship with someone of the same gender? If you understand it mentally, but it's very hard emotionally. You see, asking the question is already a form of your repentance. The very question signifies repentance. Because people might judge your question differently. How bad is it? It's a sin, it's not just bad. This means one doesn't understand God's will. If the Lord wanted, He would have created such relationships. It is not hard for Him to create everyone of the same gender, and everyone would live that way. But He made it differently. The reason, however, is not that there is a desire for sin. The reason has a very deep nature, and the nature of this reason is our life. That is, there are 3 stages of human degradation. Most people on earth have reached the 2nd stage, but some have reached the 3rd. So what are these stages of degradation? At first stage, a person has gender flaws, women get upset, men get angry. At the 2nd stage, People have the defects of the opposite sex. Men become lazy, don't want to work. Women work hard, behave like men. At the third stage, a person can no longer tolerate the opposite gender. With each stage, the tolerance for the opposite sex diminishes before your very eyes. For instance, at the second stage of degradation, a woman can only communicate with a weak man, not a strong one. A man can only communicate with a weak woman. Well, a weak woman is one who considers herself strong. A man can't communicate with the ordinary normal woman. At the third stage, people generally become intolerant of the opposite sex. This causes a shift in their view of the world, initially at a perceptual level. Their ability to love shifts in another direction because they simply cannot tolerate the opposite sex. Gradually, the desire to love one's own sex rather than the opposite sex develops. This is the result of degradation of consciousness. As soon as someone starts to work on themselves, the process is reversed. For instance, a woman initially might be able to relate to weak men, then to normal ones. In this case, the process starts in the opposite direction.
So if there's no desire, then one should force oneself to do it, right?
It's hard to say whether it's right or wrong. For example, if you don't work on yourself and you break up with someone, after a short time, you might lose your mind and try to find someone like that again. There is no point in breaking up if you haven't changed inside. If you see that such relationships are uncomfortable, you feel it's wrong, and other needs have arisen, then there's no problem. From the viewpoint of whether it's a sin or not to leave a person of the same sex, there's no sin in it. If you're in an inappropriate relationship, you need to break up. That's it. There's no sin in leaving such a person. These are inappropriate relationships. They lack God's grace.
Reply, thank you.
Thank you for having the courage to ask the question. That's very good. Repentance? Applause. Repentance lightens the heart. That's why I personally don't do consultations with people. When I talk to them privately, some of them try to buy me. They say, Oleg Gennadievich, I'll give you a lot of money. Let's talk in private. I don't see the point of it because there's no repentance. They just extract information from me, then do nothing. So what is the purpose of consultation in modern society? They just want information from me. They don't want to change. They just want to know what I think. I'm not satisfied with that. I don't want to waste my energy just for them to know my thoughts. That's why when a person asks publicly, it signifies repentance. It means they're repenting. They're ready to open their hearts, which is a very serious thing to do. I always appreciate such people. Applause. Please hand over the tangerine. Here's a man, let's talk.
Thank you.
Good day, good evening. Oleg Gennadievich, I have a question for you. How to find a mentor? How to find a mentor in life for life? I'll tell you, there's a certain process. God sends a mentor. It's impossible to find one. It's a gift. In other words, it's the grace of fate. This is the way it works. First of all, a person acquires the ability to listen to the advice of friends, not from their elders, but from their peers. At the next stage, they have the ability to listen to their wife, to their husband, that is to say, to people close to them. It's even harder than listening to friends. When a person is really able to listen to what their loved ones tell him or her, then God gives them senior friends, those who are working on themselves but have more experience. At this stage, having already senior friends, one must choose his or her faith, and within that faith, one must choose senior friends, or it is otherwise called a mentor or a person of a mentor level. But this is not a spiritual father, it's a senior friend. When one can truly trust the elders, God gives a spiritual guide, a person who tells you something and you start doing it. It doesn't matter if you want to or not. You believe that God acts through them. The highest level is when a person dedicates oneself to the elder. It's a level of great wisdom because when one wants to devote oneself prematurely and is not qualified to do so, such a person makes an idol out of the elder. One creates an idol for oneself and thus goes against God's will, because the elder might just be a servant serving a younger person by guiding them. It's not an idol, it's a servant. You need to identify who behaves how. In other words, the junior needs to have a certain level of qualification as well. It's a whole sequence of the path. It's impossible that God gives you a mentor right away. It's just not possible. The mentor needs to feel that there's a genuine need for their advice, a vital need, not just some sort of acknowledgement. You see, a mentor spends high-quality soul energy on his charge. It's a profound conversation. There should be no betrayal. That's how it is. Even if you start listening to lectures and just accept what I say, because if you do not accept, you will not be able to listen. It is impossible. It means a certain type of mentorship, albeit from a distance. So you can follow or not, it's up to you. But still, you've started on this path. It's going to be sequential, meaning God has given something. You see, the development process is ongoing.
Reply: Yes, I listen to your lectures, and I am in orthodoxy.
I tried to talk to different priests, and they are good people. But I have no feeling that this person can be a mentor. I don't feel in such a way. You know, if you listen to my lectures, there's an Orthodox priest, a very serious theologian. He is roughly my peer in spiritual practice, meaning he has been practicing spiritual life for more than 25 years. It's Father Ambrose. He lives near Kiev. He has his own hermitage. He gives lectures, online seminars on the lives of holy people on my resources. And if the question is about you having some compatibility with what I say, and for him to speak similarly, we have absolutely identical views. We've spent many hours in conversation. We don't differ in understanding what a person needs. I think if you like what I say, you will also like what he says.
Well, tell me, is it necessary, let's say, to go somewhere, change the place, travel?
No, you can easily communicate with him remotely. You don't need to change your faith or residence. You can communicate from a distance nowadays. You get acquainted once, then just correspond or call him. He will also be giving lectures. That's also a form of guidance.
Thank you very much.
Be happy. Can I toss you a tangerine? Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm glad that people are evolving, asking such serious questions. Whoever didn't ask me, raise your hands. The lady who waved her hand, you may ask.
Thank you very much for the opportunity to ask a question. Thank you so much for your lectures. I've been listening to them for 3 years. Thank you very much for coming to Odessa. I'm really happy. God grant it won't be the last time. Thank you immensely.
I'm amazed by your city, truly amazed by you.
We're awesome. We love you.
The first joke has already been made in Odessa. The first joke is out. Great. Well done. You're very humble. Second joke.
Dear Oleg Genadievich, I want to ask for your advice. My husband is in his second marriage, and it's my second marriage too. 12 years ago we formed a family.
That's wonderful.
And we had a child, a boy.
That's absolutely great.
My husband retained a business from his first marriage, and he was offered a second business. I started working on this second business. I was in charge of this business. I'm still running it, but my husband's business has gone downhill. He has huge debts, hundreds of thousands of dollars.
There's one problem.
The business was taken away.
He shouldn't decide on his own where to invest money. He doesn't have that option. He doesn't understand. But you do have that option. You should decide together. You didn't want what he was doing. You didn't.
I didn't even know he had accumulated so much debt.
And that's even worse. You need to set conditions for him because you'll have to repay together.
Well, we lost our house, we lost our cars. We now live in a rented apartment.
You need to set conditions for him. If he lives with you, he must tell you every time about his desires to invest or spend money.
He's a former soldier, and he is very stubborn.
It doesn't matter if he's stubborn or not, you have to explain to him. Let's say I'm stubborn and eat other people's food. Does anything change from that? If you're feeding him now, regardless of his stubbornness, he needs to see the world clearly.
He hasn't been working for the last 4 years, and I've been looking for a reason why.
The reason is depression. Wrong lifestyle. The man broke and isn't recovering. Does he drink?
Yes, he does, and he just lays on a couch.
That's it, he's broken. It means the man is turning into a parasite.
He's already ready to cook meals.
I see.
The saddest thing is that the child, the boy, looks up to his mother as an authority, not the father.
Don't complain.
I'm not complaining, I just don't know what to do.
You have to educate the man. Never use words against the man. Let's say a little boy did something wrong. One option, mom says, if you do this, then I'll do that. That's a big mistake. You should never say that to a boy. If he did something wrong, you should take him by the hand and lead him to the corner. On the way, he will ask, Mom, where are we going? You should say, where? To the corner. How long will I stand there? You'll stand for a long time. Mom, I won't do that. We'll see after you stand for a while. You see, you must punish the boy. Why? So that he starts thinking, but you don't punish your boy.
I adore him, yes.
Well done, you turned him into a dumpling. She adores. Women, remember, if you love a man so much that you start to pamper him, you turn him into a dumpling. But not the dumpling you can eat, but the one that stinks. In other words, be careful. You are ruining your own life. You can't pamper a man. If you see that a man starts to relax, he is reluctant to work, and he firmly sticks to his stance, meaning he seems inflexible. You can't be strict with him, you can't punish him. He protests immediately, rebels. It means you don't understand the male psyche. All this is just bravado. It's all superficial. As soon as you start to take real but firm steps, he will change immediately. You will see that he becomes different. But you can cross the line. If you continue to pamper him, you will see a very interesting thing. He, despite what you did, will find another woman.
I feel that.
And he will start cheating on you behind your back. That is, he will become so brazen, beyond what you can even imagine, because a person can become infinitely impudent.
Oleg Genadievich, I was looking for the reason why it is so. I think because in his first marriage he achieved a lot. 2 businesses, houses, cars. But with me he lost everything. So I was looking for the reason in myself.
Yes. Like this woman, you're to blame for everything. You're the center of the universe. You're almost God. Everything that happens is your fault.
I went to an astrologer.
Oh, please don't tell me that. I went to an astrologer. We don't need that in my lectures.
Just listen.
I don't want to. You'll spoil my mood now. Then I won't be able to continue the lecture.
The astrologer said something good. He said my husband is having a bad period. At least we understand what's happening.
Yes, exactly. A bad period, that's it. By the way, I'm about to have a bad period right now. It's starting, so I won't continue the lecture.
But in 2020, this period for him ends.
Just 2 years to wait. Oh my God. 2 years is 1/20th of a life.
I'm about to go through a tough period now.
Well, you'll be lying on the couch with him.
But will I be lying down, or will he leave me when things get tough for me?
Understand, I don't want to hear the astrologer said. You're taking the astrologer's words as a basis in your conversations with me. Why should I now apply this philosophy instilled in you by this person in my interactions with you? Why should I apply it?
Well, I think the astrologer mentioned Sada City, and you talk about a tough period. I think it's the same thing.
Not Sada City. It's called Sada Sati.
Or Shade Sati, right? Oleg Genadievich, my husband, wants to borrow money again and start the same business he lost.
What does he want?
To borrow money again.
You shouldn't let him do that.
I'm just out of strength.
No, don't. Don't do it under any circumstances.
I suggested him to manage my business.
He needs to start working anywhere.
He can't find himself anywhere.
Hire him for a job.
He doesn't want to work where I work.
Then don't give him any money. Start with discipline. He can't start working because he's a sausage in the tomato sauce of your love. A sausage in the tomato sauce of your love. Is that clear? No?
Yes, it's clear.
You've spoiled this man. This is where the whole tough period lies. He certainly had a breakdown, had a tough period, but it's been over for a long time now. You've spoiled this man. Spoiled because you indulge in him and he takes advantage of it. Taking pleasure in a person is a sin. You need to serve a person, which means being strict in this case. The astrologer should have told you this. Because blaming everything on a tough period is not the way to explain anything. Because if you tell a person he's having a tough period, he'll decide, I'm having a tough period, so I'll do nothing.
That's exactly what he did when he found out about the tough period.
That's complete nonsense. Do you understand? Total nonsense. What kind of explanation is that? Don't talk to me about astrologers. It spoils my mood.
I'm sorry.
People should learn wisdom, not some paper tricks. They've learned astrological charts but don't understand life. They start giving advice, completely foolish. What does period have to do with it? One should overcome fate, whether it's a good or a bad period. What's the difference? Look, someone's going through a tough time, but they're praying. What the girl was asking about. And that's right, not like lying on the couch, not drinking vodka. The reason is you. You've spoiled the person. Fix the situation. Give him a kick.
I wanted to leave him, but you said it's not allowed. Speaker, you don't need to leave. You should live separately. I've distanced myself. Speaker, don't give him money.
When a man lives off his wife's money, it's like eating excrement.
Speaker, he should live on his own money. Don't give him money. Nothing. Got it. Thank you. Speaker, you didn't get it. You won't listen to me, I'm sure. I will listen, Speaker. Good, we'll see.
While it's not too late, come to your senses. Before it's too late, I can now tell you my astrological prediction. If you don't discipline him for another year and a half, your marriage will be ruined. That's it. It will be the final deadline. Moreover, if you don't discipline him for 6 months, he'll become an alcoholic.
Should I sell my business or not? Please tell me, Speaker. Why sell it? You have a good business. Why sell? Speaker, to pay off debts. Yes, Speaker. By no means, it's his problem, not yours. Thank you so much.
See? First, she spoiled the man, and now she wants to sell everything. Sold the apartment, everything. This is the result of what she did. You shouldn't spoil a man. Remember that. With your love, and also your child, your son. Do you like these white roses? It's good that you asked. It was important for you to know all this. Ladies, this is a lesson for all of you. Do you understand? This is a lesson. Because the man is strong. Strong men always behave like this. They either lie on the stove or conquer. You understand? That is, when he lies on the stove, no one can lift him up. Because he has a strong character, strong mentality. The wife tries to lift him up, and the husband says, get lost. That shows a strong character. He needs a strong influence. A strong influence, then he will come to his senses. Is that clear? He is either on the stove or he starts to fight. That is, you shouldn't allow a man to lie on the stove for a long time. He degrades. Don't allow it. Do something. If it doesn't work, live separately, distance yourself, even if the family breaks up. It's better than allowing a person to degrade. If he's left alone, he will sober up. He will start to live somehow. A man who lives off a woman's money simply becomes shit, to put it bluntly. He's not even a man anymore. Ladies, don't allow men to live off your money. Sometimes, for a while, it's possible. There are periods so tough that a husband can't earn at all. If he's trying, if he's working somewhere, if he's working and earning little, that's fine. There's no problem with that. This can be endured. But if a man does nothing, it's your fault. You will answer to God for this. A woman who lets her husband do this, if he goes to hell, she'll go with him. She is as much of a sinner as he is. That is, connivance is no lesser sin than laziness. And this degradation. There's a sin with a minus sign, which is invisible, and one with a plus sign. Connivance, a woman's depression when she is afraid to say something to her husband, doesn't want to educate him. It's a sin with a minus sign. It has the same nature, which is dangerous and destructive to destiny. Be careful, more careful. Did I give you a tangerine? No? Do you have a tangerine? Well, ask. Let's continue.
Oleg Gennadievich, I wanted to ask you a question, a bit of my life's history, briefly.
No need for stories. Just ask your question. I'm quick-witted.
I don't doubt it. Anyway, I'm currently on maternity leave, and my child is almost 3 years old. And let's say I miss my job, perhaps.
I don't know if I'm a home person or not. From your lectures,
Og, you're a natural leader, a leader. You need to do something, lead someone. Yes, yes, probably yes.
well, what's your question?
Before I believed that I could achieve something, now I've let go of all those ambitions. Og, there's a reason.
When a woman stays at home for a long time, raising a child, she develops a certain alienation syndrome from this life, from the social life. It's like she's weaned off society, off activity, and then you need to slowly recover and adapt again. So you might not want to start a business immediately. You should start some social, public activity. Take on something that doesn't pay, but just engages you in social life. And then when you get stronger, you can start working, because right now you have fear and rejection. When a woman sits at home for too long, she becomes like this.
Can I ask? I'm afraid that I'm making the same mistakes.
If before I used to say that I think I'm strong and so on, now I've just taken responsibility for my life, for myself, and I'm moving forward. That is, towards my desires. In general, I feel alive.
Og, you're following your desires, yes? Well, no, Og, that's a sinful life, following one's desires. No, rather. Maybe I expressed myself incorrectly, but I get it.
Does your husband earn money?
He works, but at the moment I have the opportunity to earn more, and I decided for myself this way. Today me, tomorrow him. So I am comfortable with this. Why exaggerate?
The most important thing in a family is spiritual life. If a woman is already engaged in spiritual practice and has the time and desire for some other activity, she should do it. The most important thing is not to fulfill desires, but to engage in spiritual practice. Let's say, if for you, spiritual practice is attending women's clubs, studying how to live correctly, that means it is your spiritual practice. If you spend your time on beauty salons, on manicures, pedicures, and think that this is what you have to do, and this is your goal in life, then it's nonsense.
Thank you, I got my answer.
The result of such a life, a person degrades so much, relaxes so much that they lose the ability to live and survive in this world altogether. When a bad period of life inevitably comes, this person becomes completely demoralized and paralyzed in life. They can't live normally and fall into severe stress. A person should never relax, be it a man or a woman. A woman should find happiness in activity. That's true. She should enjoy what she does. But living for oneself is fundamentally not a way to live at all. One should live for someone else. That's why women give birth to children, to give themselves to their children. She lives for her husband, for her children, for society, not for herself. Some psychologists say that a woman should live for herself. This is complete madness. No one should ever live for themselves. Sooner or later, this ends in cheating and betrayal. Pass the microphone back to the lady in blue. She already looks quite upset. No, not to you, to the lady I was talking to and who had the microphone taken away. Yes, to you.
Thank you, Og. Go ahead, ask. A question about my husband, and I have another question that just came up. I don't know why I'm drawn to him. I want to be with him.
Did you tell him, as we agreed?
No, I wrote to him, kept writing, but he didn't respond.
No response. This means your desires don't matter. You should pray for your desires to weaken. Desires will devour your life. You need to pray. If a person doesn't respond, it means he's cut off from you. There's no connection. So, you should pray so that your desire doesn't ruin your relationship completely. Because if you write and he doesn't answer, It's okay. You're trying to restore the family. You pray and so on. But don't think that you are weakly attached to him or love him weakly if you write and he doesn't answer. On the contrary, you're too attached to him. And this attachment needs to be quenched by serving God, otherwise it will destroy your family.
Yes, I feel it, truly. I'm very grateful that you gave me this opportunity, thank you. My mother was at the Blogist festival. And there she saw you and said, Oleg Gennadyevich, my daughter couldn't come but she really wanted to, and you asked, what's her name? Ivana, my mother replied, and you thought for a moment and said, send her my regards. Maybe it was a blessing. I'm so grateful to you, thank you very much, you sensed it.
You're a good person, that's why I gave you another chance to ask, because we need to help good people. The girl in the scarf asked your question, the one in the red sweater.
Can we both ask?
Will you ask together, in chorus?
No, Oleg Gennadyevich, we're very grateful for your lectures, because you helped us save our family.
Wonderful.
Right now, from my perspective, we have a perfect relationship with my husband, but there's just one question.
It's a perfect relationship because he tolerates you. That's why it's perfect. My wife also says, we have a perfect relationship with my husband. But I know what it takes.
Yes, he's great. For the past 3 years we've been planning to have a child and it hasn't happened. I do have some problems.
He's overworked, his seed is weak, he should practice yoga, drink ginseng. Ginseng helps all men. He should eat raw roots, lots of raw roots, beetroot, carrot, parsnip, various raw roots. Your ovum is also overheated. You need to go to a pool, eat raw vegetables. If you don't conceive within a year, then treatment in our center is the next step. We'll place seeds in your ears. These seeds will help tune your body for conception. We have many good results in this direction. Especially in cases like yours. You have functional infertility, it's not hard to treat, you just need to live actively and correctly. If not, we can help you.
Thank you.
Be happy. So from this side, do you want to ask? Please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Oleg Gennadyevich.
There's a girl sitting there, she feeds me.
I'm very grateful for your lectures.
This girl cooks very deliciously. And she teaches culinary courses, just so you know.
I'm very grateful that you came, grateful for your lectures. Thanks to them, I got married, changed my life.
Well done. Made some girl happy, well done.
I quit eating meat, fish. My question, my wife doesn't support my diet.
Well, nothing terrible. It's okay. Nothing to worry about. It's temporary.
And she doesn't want a child.
That's also not a problem.
How can I calm down?
I'll explain how to calm down now. Understand that when the sun rises, shadows disappear. If, for example, the sun hasn't risen yet and I think, oh God, why is it so dark? It means my thinking is incorrect. You just have to wait. There will definitely be light. Or it's cold at night, no sun, and someone starts to think, oh, I can't live, I'm cold. Wait, the sun will rise soon, and it will be warm, because the sun gives warmth. Understand that this meat eating is a certain level of consciousness development. If someone in the family has a more developed consciousness, then undoubtedly the rest will catch up. It's a slow process. And you should also know that God is showing you how you lived before, so that you strengthen your aspiration upwards. When a rubber band is stretched, it shoots back stronger. The same principle applies here. God shows you how you lived before, causing you to protest against this life through relatives. This is necessary for you to repent, realize the incorrectness of your life before this. Therefore, whenever the Lord sees a person taking the right path, he places obstacles through relatives. But later, that obstacle always disappears. I can provide an example from my own life. My mother, when I embarked on a path of personal growth, genuinely thought I had lost my mind really. When I started this journey, I didn't have a wife or children, just my mother nearby, and she believed I'd gone mad. Then the doctors confirmed it, even diagnosed me with schizophrenia, but later they withdrew the diagnosis. It's a funny story in its own right. I won't delve into the details now. The idea is now my mother herself prays, she eats correctly, and so do all the relatives around me, all my friends and acquaintances, everyone around. Because such growth took place, time came and everything changed. You just have to wait. And if you accept your fate and love your relatives, through this love, a force enters their consciousness, changing them. And even now they are changing. For instance, your wife has already started eating less meat. She does it consciously. You might not notice, but she's eating less on her own.
She only eats fish.
See, there you have it. I can see the process unfolding. She will eventually stop eating that too. But the main thing to understand, don't pressure. Pressuring someone pushes them away, slows their growth. You have to take it all in absolute calm. If you stay calm, people change quickly. And if you can't stay calm, it means you haven't come to terms with your fate. Therefore, fate will continue to torment you.
Thank you very much. Another question.
If I lack the strength to cope with my spouse, how can I find peace? You need to find strength remembering those who pray, and by praying with them, in that prayer a person is filled with strength.
Thank you. Another question about my destiny. Is everything happening correctly in my life right now or not?
I don't know. You tell me. Don't overestimate my capabilities. Sometimes people do overestimate. I should know what's happening, as different life paths can unfold. I don't know exactly what's happening.
We have a family business, so we work with my mother.
There's a lot of hustle, tension, emotions. You need to calm down.
We live with our parents for now, and my wife says, if we all live separately, if we live in another city, maybe you'll find another job. She hints at that.
No, don't. That's the wrong way of thinking. She's just tired of your emotions and is starting to get tired and a bit edgy. You need to learn how to behave correctly when working with your parents and maintain a bit of distance. When relationships are close, shared business means the ability to switch. So, let's say you communicate with your mom as a mom. Then when business started, you somewhat distanced. Now, without a close relationships in business create chaos. It's even worse than in Brazilian soap operas. You understand? I mean, just like that. This is what's happening with you right now. She gets tired of this.
I understand. Thank you very much. God grant that you come again. Thank you.
Often, my lecture attendees know. My patients tell me, Oleg Gennadievich, may God grant you health so that you always treat us. Be happy.